Hey everyone, so can you reload here? Maybe here? Or here? Yeah, but you probably don't want to do that. Or maybe you do. I've never reloaded at the toilet before. In fact, that was my first time, so there we are. That's the cool thing about this Frankford Arsenal Platinum Series Reloading Stand is what I think they call it. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it's great as a beginner bench, or if you're like me, you live in an apartment or a small space where you can't necessarily fit a normal sized or even a big sized reloading bench. So this can get the job done. It does have some trade-offs though. What I do like about it is that it's portable. You can fold it up, it's pretty compact, shrinks up to a smaller size when you drop down these leaflets or whatever they want to call them, and you can put it in a closet or wherever you need, or even in the corner of your room, and it just doesn't take up much space. The other cool thing is that the height of this stand is adjustable. I have it to about where I like to sit, roughly on just a stool that I have, but you can adjust it. I'll throw up the measurements somewhere here on text of what the range is from floor to the very top. Keep in mind though, if you do that, it probably will get a little less stable. So just keep that in mind, especially with a heavy press like the coax or an RCBS or something. Yeah, so along that, it includes 2 Akro bins, which is pretty useful for, you know, putting your cartridges in, your case lube, whatever you want. So I'll demonstrate loading some 30-30. Now this kind of is the best case scenario for this stand because it is the coax, which pretty much puts the forces downward instead of out like a traditional press. So let's just load a couple of cases here. Got some imperial sizing wax, got my Lee full-length die set up. So this is a worst case scenario instead of like seating bullets or something. And there we are. And as you probably saw, it does flex a good deal. If you have a lot of things on this bench, they will fall off. I know from experience. So that is a downside as well. So I would not put your measurement tools, your calipers, anything you care about on this while you're doing your resizing or bullet seating operations. So, you know, keep things aside, or, you know, what I used to do is just bring up another C table and set next to me so I could set all the other things on there that I might want to have nearby, but don't want to have it fall off the bench. There are a few other options. There's a Lee Reloading Stand. It is more of a stand than it is a bench. I'd say this is in the weird middle. You have to use something like a cinder block to weigh it down though, so it's a little different, and as far as I know, it only works with their Lee bench plate system or something. You could also find a used or build a cheap bench if you have a place for it. That's the advantage of something like the Lee stand or this bench, is it doesn't take a lot of room. So if you have a traditional bench, you will need at least, what, 2, 3, 4 feet, and it could cost you about the same. So that's the awesome thing about this. So what are the prices? The price for this is around 180 MSRP with free shipping. The Lee Reloading Stand is about $150 with free shipping, and building a bench could vary. Probably very similar with that, with materials nowadays. The cost of 2x4s and everything is kind of ridiculous at the moment, but maybe you'll find someone who has a bench on the side of a yard for free or something. So there you go. One upgrade I did was I mounted a Inline Fabrication flush plate to this, which I find is really awesome. There is a trick though. I had to route out a fair deal of the material for it to sit flush, and that didn't leave a lot of room underneath for a lot of support. I felt like it would break. So what I did was took a 2x6 and embraced it between the 2 metal bars and secured it with screws so it's all tight and rigid and it won't go anywhere. You can get the Inline Fabrication riser plate for their flush mount, and that would solve that problem as well. But then you'll have like a little lip, which I didn't want. I wanted it completely flush so I can move things around, not have to deal with hitting things. I did used to have the Lee quick change plate system on here, and it was kind of in the way. It's pretty low profile, but it gets in the way a lot. And my idea was I might want to clean my guns on here or something, even though there's not a lot of room. Again, I'll give you all the measurements in the video. Yeah, and the other, I'd say, small downside is that this MDF isn't the thickest, and it is MDF. It's a thick particle board, but it's particle board nonetheless. So a couple other small gripes is that the rubber feet fall off every time. I haven't picked this thing up once or moved it without those things falling off, and I've been diligent about making sure I don't lose them, but I'm sure at some point it would be very easy to have them go missing, and then if you're on a smooth floor surface like here or your garage or something, this thing's going to move all over the place. Probably even carpet, because this metal is pretty slick. So that's another con. The other thing is it's heavy, especially with a press like the coax on it. It is really awkward to lug around for a short man with twig forearms like myself. So it is really awkward. But that's it. So what do you guys think? What do you use as a reloading bench? Have you used one of these before? Do you prefer just having a normal solid bench, like an actual real bench? Does all this flexing and moving bother you? I know it bothers me and a lot of other people, but sometimes you just gotta have the compromise, right? You gotta weigh all your options, and for this being cheap enough or affordable enough and portable enough, I can deal with the trade-offs. And honestly, I can go reload at Ultimate Reloader or somewhere if I really, really wanted to have something a little bit better. But you know, for a little at-home setup, if I just want to knock out some 30-30 rounds or some basic 6.5 Creed rounds, it is just fine for me. So yeah, that's it for this one, guys. Again, let me know what your setup is. I'd love to hear it, and if there's any other options very similar to this that maybe I haven't heard of before. So that's all for this one, and until next time.